Welcome everyone to the best little wrestling podcast in the business. That's right, guys. I'm excited about today's show. This is episode 33. We're live from STS Studios in St. Louis, Missouri, building an empire with the Wrestling Right Network every Tuesday right here before 2 o'clock. This coming Thursday, you'll have Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. That will be episode 3 of that show. I just want to do a few plugs here, get you started and going with this show. Had a good time doing this, and I think you guys will enjoy it. We got a tiny url.com/STSpod merch. Go ahead, guys. You can get your t-shirt and stickers there. PayPal.com. That's Brian_Trammell, or Trammell, at yahoo.com. We also have the website. If you go to the website, stspod.club, on your computer, to the right there, you can subscribe to Amazon Music Unlimited, a few other things that we get kickbacks for. Follow us at Comic Book Mark BT on Twitter. Now, I'm going to be giving away some stuff later on the last 2 weeks of this month, but you have to follow Twitter. You have to follow Twitter and you have to retweet. That's all you have to do. So follow us there on Twitter. Guys, we have a group on Facebook. It's the Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk. You have to do a search for it. You have to ask to come in. It's not a PG group. It's not for the kiddos and not always politically correct. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and as always, we want to put over our buddies Suplex City Limits, Creative Control, and Locals to Legends Wrestling Radio. And my buddy Bob McGee, who puts those links up and everything for Shooting the Shiznit quicker than I can send them to him. And he's at www.pwbts.com. Now, no further BS. Let's get to today's episode.
Club for life.
Hey, I want to welcome my guest. I bring him in from the green room. It's the crown jewel, Chase Owens. Chase, welcome to Shooting the Shiznit.
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, not familiar with my show, here's what I do. It's just one of those things where either I grab somebody I've never talked to, and we just sit and talk to each other for 30 minutes, or I bring an old friend over and we talk 30 minutes about the business. We've got some mutual friends in the business, but we have never met. So it's going to be kind of just sitting around talking shit for 30 minutes. So first of all, though, because I always forget, I want you to put over your stuff. Twitter, where can we get a T-shirt? I mean, the whole 9 yards. Put it over for us.
Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Real Chase Owens. A Facebook, or not a Facebook, a website link, T-Chip. I can't even remember the whole thing now, but I'll post the link on my social medias all the time. I've got several different shirts out right now, and you can get mugs and different types of shirts and hoodies and all kinds of stuff.
All right, good deal, guys. Everyone listening, go out and buy a shirt from Chase. Give him some support. Chase, I just want to start out. I remember seeing your name, and I don't know if it was Tony Gibbons' promotion, but it seemed to be like it was you and Tony all the time when I first started noticing you. Now, you tell us who you were trained by, and you got started in that area, right, with Tony Gibbons.
Yeah, I started here in my hometown of Bristol by a guy named Mikey Duggar, who is where I, originally trained at. But then I was lucky enough to meet Ricky Morton, who lives on the Tennessee side of the same, town that I live in, where I live on the Virginia side. And Ricky asked me if I wanted to start traveling with him, and and all that good stuff. And of course, I took advantage of that, even though I was 17 years old.
Being 17, so have you? a lot of professional wrestlers are weekend warriors, and I'm not going to talk bad about them because sometimes you do have to have a shoot job. But at that point, did you become a professional wrestler, or down the line did we decide we didn't need the shoot job anymore?
No, actually, I ended up getting a job at FedEx, and I was there for like six years, I believe. And that was after I was wrestling and still in high school. So I really didn't do any job until after high school. But like I said, I was there for 6 years, and until I caught the break. I was working 5 days a week from 3:30 in the morning till 8, 9, 10, sometimes noon, just depending on how fast we could get the loads done or whatever. But at the same time, I was going and wrestling every night in the Knoxville area. So I was coming home and getting maybe an hour, 2 hours of sleep if I was lucky, before having to go to work. And I was doing this, every Tuesday to Saturday. I would come back, so I'd just be so exhausted at the end. But, in this business, you've got to make sacrifices, and you've got to do whatever it takes, and that includes losing money for years and years, which I did.
Right. I mean, it's most of my friends say, when we give up the shoot job, then we are professional wrestlers. So, and I've had many of my friends that just work, try to work as many days as possible. You're saying you was wrestling 5 dates a week, and that's one of the biggest advices I can give to anyone getting in the business. Work as many shows as possible. That gives you. And I had a chance to. I just sat down, did some searches of you today, and one of my favorite bouts from you was I actually was watching AJ Styles stuff when he first won the IWGP in New Japan, and just started watching some of his stuff over here. Is a match with AJ Styles now. Are you in? How many times do you work Styles? A lot, or are we just talking about a couple of times?
That was just that one match. And that was a match that, when I got into professional wrestling, AJ was who I was watching, and AJ was who I wanted to be like. And it took 9 years to get that match to happen, but it did happen, and it was one of my favorite matches.
It is. I mean, it shows your. The thing about it is, it shows your skills then, and I'll get more into New Japan here in a moment, but. And I got a chance to see, and I want to put this guy over. I do every chance I get. Is Jason Kincaid? You guys, how long you guys been feuding? It seems like we've been having a pretty long feud here.
Yeah, it's been. Jason was the Smoky Mountain champion, or before that, or no, I think it was just the Smoky Mountain. But he might have held it during the CWA days. But whatever, Jason held that belt for. I was constantly chasing that, but truthfully, the feud goes beyond that. I'd say 8, 9 years now.
I watched a match this morning. It was from a show in Indiana in June there, and you guys just, turned it on. It was, you could tell you guys worked each other a lot. It's almost like you don't even, move after move after move. But it's a total, and then I watched you against Gary J, which was a total different match in the sense that you were using. It kind of has disappeared in recent years, especially on the indie scene. It's just that basic psychology of a babyface shine. Heel gets the heat, babyface makes a comeback, boom, 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 and that kind of psychology isn't as popular now. And some people don't even get it or don't even understand it. But I watched you do a Gary J match, totally different than you did the Kincaid match. Do you seem to feel like more comfortable when you're working someone you haven't worked a lot, just going back to the basics of psychology?
I think it just depends on, different things, throughout the match. But, Jason, go back to him, he's probably one of the best guys that I've ever stepped in the ring with. He's a guy that really studies every style of wrestling, can do any style of wrestling. Again, he's one of the very best and smartest guys that I've ever been in the ring with. But I don't think it's, knocking on anybody or whatever, but, just the mood or the crowd, because, like you said, some crowds aren't going to understand it. I would wrestle somewhere. I wrestle completely different in the States, in Tennessee than I do in Japan or up north in Philly or wherever.
Those guys are going to be more. They pop more for the high spots where you can work. First 12 minutes of just pure psychology on a southern show, which I understand that. That's born and raised around the Memphis area, and I'm used to the normal psychology. I know what everyone's going to want me to ask because all my friends. We want to talk about you having one of the best gigs ever. Number one, this weekend you had a great gig by coming to the ring a couple times. But you are part now of the Bullet Club, which seems to be, the takeoff of the NWO or whatever, but one of the most popular groups, and the merch seems to keep selling. One of those things where I heard, I guess, maybe 18 months ago, someone said, "Oh, they need to get rid of the Bullet Club. It's not selling shirts anymore. Or we're bored of the Bullet Club, blah blah blah," and it's still hot. So tell us. I know you went to Japan before that, which you can tell that story too. And then how did you land the gig of being in the Bullet Club?
I think it was just a different combination of things. We had New Japan came into Texas for a seminar and shows, and I won't say seminar because it was more of a tryout. But they came down to Houston and San Antonio when the NWA had those shows, and I did that tryout, which it was like a 16-hour drive or something. And then just a few months after that, they had the same type of deal with Ring of Honor. So I showed up to Philly, and did that one too, and that's when, Gato and Hattori, recognized me, and just being at both things, like I said earlier, it's sacrifices, and you may not have everything, but doing things such as sleeping in my car, instead of a hotel room, or buying breakfast such as apples or bananas so that you can eat several times off the one meal or whatever. But so I was there for that too, and that's when they noticed me, and that's when I shortly after went to Japan. But then, like you said earlier, my match with AJ was before. My match with AJ was the May of 2015. And I joined Bullet Club October 2015. So I think that match had something to do with it. Me being friends with Luke Gallows, had something to do with it. It's just being at the right place, right time, knowing the right people.
I mean, it's and the thing about it is that, and I seen a lot of this when you first joined, and you can talk more about this because you probably feel it more than I do. It's almost like, I want to say jealousy, but I don't even know if that's a right word or not. But why do so many people, like within the business, when they see someone like you who may not be one of the biggest indie stars in the complete United States, but I mean, you've been working X amount of years, your craft, but then they're giving you shit. They're just hating on you that here's Chase Owens, he doesn't deserve that spot, or why is he going? But it's not. I didn't see that actually from a lot of fans. I seen that from a lot of people posting, things on their Twitter, or who does Chase think he is, and just silly stuff like that. How do you do you just brush that off, or is that and why do you think people do that?
I think you hit it right on the head. I think it's jealousy. As far as other wrestlers go, because everybody wants to be in that spot. Who wouldn't? Like you said earlier, the hottest thing in professional wrestling, and people can say it's dying or selling, not selling T-shirts or whatever. But the thing is, just got a deal in Hot Topic, and every Hot Topic in the Canada and the U.S. And
yep.
A lot of people are saying that the shirts are sold out. We just went to the one in Long Beach across from the show, and this weekend, and we went in there, and they said the Bullet Club stuff was sold out. But as far as fans go or whatever, the fans that say it, it's because I don't wrestle like Kenny or the Bucks and do all this high flying, incredible stuff, because I'm not athletically capable of doing things the Bucks do. Or guys like Ricochet and Will Ospreay who are just the most athletic dudes in the world. So because I'm this Southern wrestler, people, crap on it, and they can say whatever they want on Twitter because their opinions aren't going to change my paychecks.
Amen, brother. Amen. And that's and I noticed it was I guess it was during Best of Super Junior, the last one that you was in. You actually got that gig because someone was hurt, right? Do I remember that right?
Correct. Nick broke his ribs.
There you go. And then so you what happened? Tell real quick the story. Did we just get a call from them and say, hey, you want to come over, and what how does that work? I mean, they just call you and tell you, hey, you're going to replace Nick, or how does it work?
Yeah, they called me on 3-day notice. 3 days before they wanted me over there, and so I was actually already doing a tour in Canada, which I had to cancel a lot of the shows. But yeah, they called New Japan's office, called me up 3 days before and asked if I was available.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the kind of calls you want, Hey, we're going to take a quick break here, commercial chase, and then we'll be right back.
Right.
I hope everyone's enjoying this episode of Shooting The Shiznit. This coming Thursday, the special edition with Who Wants to Be the Best Shizniter Ever. That's right, this is a game show podcast, a wrestling game show podcast. So guys, do me a favor and listen this Thursday. It'll come right through your iTunes feed, or you can look through it on SoundCloud there. Listen to Who Wants to Be the Best Shizniter Ever.
Bullet Club for life.
Owens, the crown jewel, and we were talking about him getting the Best of Super Juniors job there because we had Nick Jackson hurt. Now, that Super Juniors tournament, I noticed something with you during that tournament, and also, you did some tagging with Omega there for a little bit, but that tournament, it almost is like night and day with you. You seem so much more confident and being in that tournament, even though you said it was 3 days, notice that you were going, than you did the tour before. Do the more tours you do, you feel like you're getting more confident in the ring and being able to work those guys?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big confidence builder. Because New Japan, I think, and it may be a little biased or whatever, but it's the best wrestling company in the world. It's got all kinds of talent, and when you first go over there, it is a little intimidating. You got all kinds of legends from New Japan, and you got all these superstars, and the hottest acts in the world. Kenny and the Bucks, and just being around them. But as each tour comes around, it does build confidence, and and you gain confidence, and you are just able to do your thing.
Right. I mean, you had, it's got to be, if you, a guy your size is, Liger's one of those guys, I know you worked before, but when you was doing the NWA things, but he's got to be one of those guys that's a kind of a dream opponent for you. And in that whole bracket was Ospreay and Fish, Bobby Fish, Ricochet. I mean, that Tiger Mask, the whole tournament there is always good, but your bracket was there, and every match in that, it was almost like I said. I had mentioned this in one of the Facebook groups, our Cool Kids group that we have, that it was not as much as night and day, but you could really tell. Well, Chase has got his confidence now. He feels a lot better in the ring with these guys. And when you're in the ring with a guy like Ospreay and Ricochet, like you said, two of the best guys in the world right now. And you can hold your own and go at that steady pace. I can't even talk. And I just mentioned, as your experience, Kenny Omega's become the guy, especially when it comes to maybe wrestling internet, or just will be the guy when it comes to whether the WWE goes after him or not. How was it tagging with Kenny? Was it a learning experience, or are you guys just having a lot of fun?
Oh, yeah. He's, like you said, I truly think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. And New Japan has numbers 1 and 2. You can't put Okada anywhere else, besides the top 2. And, just to be tagging with Kenny and each night, for him to critique or just listen to him and get, insight on what he thinks or what can make the team click better or any of that nature, why would you want to learn? There's guys, you never stop learning. There's guys that are local wrestlers that, I've been wrestling 20 years, so that means you can't learn nothing. I'll do things. I'll go, things like Kenny. Anything Kenny says, I bring back. And I trained down at Ricky Morton's School of Morton. And, here's Ricky, been in the business 40 years. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. And, and I'll teach something at the school, and he'll, oh, man, I just learned something.
Wow.
So you never stop learning.
Well, yeah, and as much as I do, especially, and I don't know if this is as bad up north, but when it comes to down in the South, just because you've been working for 20 years, it really doesn't even mean you know what you're doing. So I've been.
And that's what people I think they think is however you just get better as the years go on automatically. It's not realizing you have to go and and wrestle different people, wrestle people better than you, get better, because most of those people are wrestling shows that are drawing 30, 40 people, and half of those are family and friends of all the wrestlers.
Yeah, it is. I booked for I had signed a book for about 6 months for a promotion, and they had a bunch of wrestlers I really didn't know, so I just walked through the door and said, look, guys, I want y'all to go out and just have your basic match, and I said, shine, heat, make the comeback, here's who I want to go over. I said, if anyone doesn't understand what I'm saying, raise your hand right now. And these guys had been working in the business 7 to 10 years, and I had, 90% of them raising their hand. They didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So it's just really scary when it comes to that point. Now, let's get to Long Beach, the biggest show last weekend on Friday night and a huge show on Saturday night. A couple of things where I was thinking well, you came out. I knew you were going because you had sent me, on Twitter. We were talking. You said, I'm headed out that way, kind of thing. And I knew you were going to be there, but I didn't see you on the, on any of the matches or the lineups there. And here you go. You walk out with you come out with the chair. You had the best gig this weekend, right? You didn't even have to suit up.
Yeah. It's one of the worst things I hate about wrestling is changing in and out of my gear.
Well, you interfered in that match. Here's one thing it's the talent, and I agree 100% with you. The New Japan roster right now, and I started back to I'm an OD. I'll be 50 years old last year, so I did the old tape trading when it came to New Japan many years ago, and then came back to New Japan a couple of years ago when it came to the G1. To me, I think there's no better roster, the guy, and no better place to learn, kind of thing. But you guys backstage, I mean, you got Okada and Cody in the ring. You got the two matches that Omega had that were just, are you guys, especially the one with Elgin, which I felt was my favorite match of the weekend. Are you guys back there watching? Are you guys knowing just how good the matches are while they're going on? Or, take me backstage at that point during those matches.
Oh, yeah, usually we have a monitor in our locker room that all of us are, sitting around, or if you haven't wrestled yet, you're probably warming up, getting ready to wrestle or whatever, but, you can just being able to watch and you can hear the reaction of the crowd, especially this weekend. It was, unbelievable. Kenny probably had the loudest reaction, out of everybody. Buck's huge reaction. Long Beach was just tons of fun.
And I've seen some Twitter photos and I think some Facebook photos y'all got out and about where y'all quickly recognized. I think you was traveling around with Haku and his sons there. I bet it wasn't easy to get recognized, right? I mean, not hard to get recognized.
Tama and Tongaloa, became two of my closest friends, and this was the first weekend of being able to hang around Haku, but just what a great family and great guys all those guys are, and how down to earth Haku is, when he's got the reputation of being one of the baddest guys and in the professional wrestling world. You go out and especially in Long Beach when there's just tons of wrestling fans, obviously they're there for one reason. So in and out of the hotels, it's having to sign stuff and take pictures, etc.
Now, there was I've seen a little bit about this, but haven't seen but a couple of things. There was a bit of a controversy, and I didn't get this confirmed, about one of the T-shirts, and I might be wrong, but were you not wearing one of those when you came out the first night? It was a T-shirt with it's got the Statue of Liberty, and she's got bullets around her crown, and apparently they ripped those off of the gimmicks table.
No, they didn't rip those off. I seen somebody trying to sell one on eBay saying that they were ripped off so that it's a limited edition. But the point of the matter is that they sold out. Like the USA flag Bullet Club shirts. Everything Bullet Club sold out this weekend.
Right. Just nut. I mean, it's just nut. But the Bullet Club's not over anymore, so I don't know why they're selling so. Yeah, I felt this. I've got a friend in Canada. He called them the other day, and the only shirt they had left was like a small. Okay, so we're in Long Beach this weekend, and you guys. I mean, the thing about it, you got probably three of the top wrestlers in the business right now. You're working around, which has got to be fun. But what's next? I mean, where does, in your opinion, what does New Japan need to do from this point? I know there's talk of them bringing the school, talk of them running shows next year, and hopefully you'll be a big part of that. But do you feel it's time to do it? No more waiting around. Let's see what we can do in the United States.
Yeah, I think I don't think the office really realized how big New Japan is over here, because they ran a big arena, but it wasn't like a huge arena, but tickets sold out in 2 hours. Then they had to put more seats out and more tickets, and when they announced that, the tickets went in 20 minutes. So I think they just need to get bigger buildings, because Kenny said it in his interview after he won the United States title. He thinks we could sell out 20,000 seat arena. And I don't disagree with him, because New Japan's hot, and everybody in the world watches. So I think it's just getting getting that confidence and running more shows and, and expanding into different areas, like Long Beach and.
Right. I think it's real, apparently wrestling's just hot right there in that area too, but you're right about New Japan. I think Access didn't have any idea about putting the show on how hot it was going to be and how many people were watching it. It's kind of the Ring of Honor and them, the dynamics between those two companies will be fun to see what happens there. But I'm with you. I think it's time to get to, next year would be the year to start promoting some shows, and maybe later this year just to see what can happen. So you can give us the scoop here. So when's the next time you're headed to New Japan?
I actually leave next Thursday on the 13th.
Okay. Are you part of the G1?
And I'm doing the tour, but I'm not part of the actual tournament.
Right. I didn't think I saw your name as part of the G1. Are you considered? Because I seen somewhere where it said you and Zach are now considered heavyweights instead of juniors. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I did the tag league tournament with Kenny last year, which is heavyweight. But I'm right on that line, so I can go either way. And I've actually been working pretty hard in the gym and cutting weight. So there's a possibility of maybe me and Marty teaming up later this year for the Super Junior Tag Tour. But we'll just see what happens.
Man, that's somebody else's over. I mean, hell, you could sell a Bullet Club umbrella. You might look into get you some Crown Jewel umbrellas. I can't believe that. It's what a gimmick, All right, man. Sounds good. You got any current shows? As we talked about, this is airing on this Tuesday on the 11th. Today's the 11th on Tuesday, and so any shows coming up after the 11th on that weekend you can that you want to put over?
I'm just going to be going to, Japan for the G1 tour, and then I come back from there August 14th. But August 15th, I fly directly to Canada for, Canadian Wrestling Elite, and I'm doing the last third of their shows. That's another company that's been growing. As when I started 3 years ago, they were doing 5 to 7 shows all in the Manitoba area, and then they did, started doing 10-day tours, going into Saskatchewan a little bit, but this is the biggest tour that they're running. It actually starts on the 30th, I believe, and runs till August 21st, but they're doing 5 different provinces. They're doing Alberta, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, going into British Columbia. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and, more towns added on the list.
Yeah, I mean, you have done what that everyone has always said. You have to get out. You gotta work different people, like you said, people that are. And I'd always tell you gotta work someone that's better than you to learn anything. And that's what you've done. And you can tell, like I said, you can tell the progress of even a guy like you've been in the business so long, you just keep learning. So one last question, and I'll let you go. Now, where's your favorite place to? Because this is something I taught the guys that go to Japan, and they, especially like their first couple of tours, they're starving to death. So, where are you eating when you go to Japan now? You got it all lined up, and you're not going to starve to death?
Oh no, we get pretty good taken care of over there. With sponsors, etc. There's lots of places, and I've pretty much figured my way around, most of the places we go, and having Yujiro in the group and being Japanese, he's all the time looking up restaurants for us to go to, etc. But yeah, definitely not starving over there.
Well, good deal. I know, that's a tradition we need to bring to the States as sponsors, And, wouldn't that be nice over here? People don't understand that, And I think the the Japanese fan are so much more. They're so much more, respective to the wrestler, which makes being a sponsor a little different than it would be hanging out here. Hey, man, Chase, I want to thank you. It was a fun 30 minutes, and good luck, man. You, like I said, I really like watching you. You're one of those guys that we, because you're a Southern boy and I am too, I kind of, you're like a hometown boy. I wish the best for you. Thank you for coming on. And, hey, I want to thank everyone for listening. This coming Thursday is Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever? That's right, this Thursday. Matthew, the champion, returns. This is his third show as he will be taking on a challenger. Guys, thanks again for listening. Same bat time and same bat channel.
Check out our hot deals on fishing, hunting, and shooting gear during Cabela's summer clearance. Get your family ready for a day on the water with 40% off all in-stock adult and youth flotation vests and savings on rods, reels, and tackle. Upgrade your optics to a Vortex with $500 off their Razor HD spotting scope and $80 off their Crossfire 2 rifle scope. Plus, we've got savings on select ammo and reloading accessories. There's something for everybody during Cabela's summer clearance going on now. Summer's heating up, and so are the savings. Head to Cabela's now for our summer clearance. Get outfitted for your next adventure with up to 50% off casual shirts, shorts, sandals, and hikers from all your favorite brands. Ensure everybody's protected from the sun on your next picnic in the backyard or day at the lake with 40% off all in-stock screen shelters and canopies. Hurry in. We've got something for everybody during our summer clearance going on now. See all our deals at Cabela's.com.